Welcome to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at HBAR. Let's get into the price action and see what's going on. Okay, so we're looking at this in two ways, and primarily what we're going to be doing is going over that bullish scenario first, and then we're going to go over that bearish one. So what we are looking for in the bullish scenario is saying that we have a low in place here, and we're looking for a B, and a C to the upside. Now this does have potential to become a bigger impulsive structure if it can manage to push up towards this 25-cent area, though obviously this is a long way from here and we need a few things to play out first for that to actually take place. Now what we're looking for here is the potential that we have. This is an A wave here, this is a B, and then we're looking for the C wave to the downside. So we've actually come down and reached the minimum requirement. We've taken this A wave and we have moved past this 0.618. So what I'm looking out for here is that this green box here is a typical support box for a B wave or a wave 2. We have come back down into this golden pocket area and we're kind of just sitting in here. Now if we do look to move down lower, the region that we don't really want to lose is this 0.443 area. Now if we lose this zone and we start to consolidate below this, it becomes more likely that we're actually going to continue to break to the downside. So we need to avoid that if we are looking at this bullish potential, though really the 1-to-1 of this as an ABC could potentially even bring us down as low as the 0.404. Now I do have some boxes here, some target boxes, which are particularly interesting because they do have some weekly and daily points of control within them, as well as we do have some fib areas within here as well as that we do obviously have some correspondence to retesting some of these lows to the left hand side. So what I'm looking for here is more evidence as to whether this B wave is completed or whether we actually still have more to come here for a C wave. So we're going to go into the internal count of this leg here, and basically the way we were discussing this is looking at this as a 1, 2, looking at this as another 1 and a 2. So I'm actually going to remove these sub waves just so that it's a bit clearer here. Looking at this 1, 2, 1, 2, and then looking for the potential of this as a bigger wave 3. Now the problem that I have with this is we didn't actually get back down to this 1.618. So this could indicate that there's either some extension going on within this move, or alternatively within this move here, the wave 1 has actually extended, where this becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So it's possible that because we're measuring this looking for this 1.618, we might not actually get there. Now because of this fact, I'm just being cautious that, you know, there is still potential that somewhere within here we could still be extending out as well, until we actually start to break these swing highs. What we could get is even this entire move here could become another 1, 2, and then we look to actually extend out deeper. We don't have anything indicating this at the moment, but if we fail to actually start breaking back above these highs, this would be my next assumption within here. Now what I'm looking for here is a fifth wave. So this first wave target currently is actually looking for this 0.490 to this 0.477, and what we'd want to see here is a good 5 wave sequence to the downside. Now we have formed something here in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this could potentially be a truncation. We'll have to watch this area here and see if we actually cross this wave 3. This is a typical area that we look for. Some other targets would be this 0.382 at this 0.483 to this 0.453 at this 0.618. So what we'd be looking out here for is basically to see whether this actually forms a wave 1. We fail to break back above these highs, and then we actually continue down for another 3, 4, 5, which could look to bring us into this zone. The alternate thing that I'm looking for here is that potentially this could still be a fourth wave. So as long as we actually stay within this range of this 572 to this 532, we could actually still be within this fourth, because this fourth was very shallow. It only came up here to this 263, which is 532 area. So because of that fact, we need to just be cautious that this isn't actually forming a flat. Now if we're looking at this as a possible flat, at the moment we haven't taken this low, so it wouldn't be an irregular flat. If it's just a regular flat, what we can see is the potential for a move up here towards this 1-to-1. This would be quite common as a regular flat. Now this would be towards this 538 area, and that would actually be setting up a double top here potentially, and then looking for that possibly of continuation down. Now the other thing that we could see here is that if this does move up slightly higher, we could actually come back and retest this high, which is sitting here towards this 553. So if we do move up here, that could potentially be a zone we look to actually interact with. Now, if we are looking at this as a fourth wave, I don't really want to see this get much higher than this 0572 area. We don't want to get higher than this. Once we start to get into that zone, it becomes likely we're going to break this wave 1 low here at this 581 and invalidate the move. So that would be invalidation if we cross this wave 1 over here. Now, if we do get this and we do push down one more time here for a fifth wave, what I'd then be looking for would be to see if we get a 3-wave move to the upside. If we do, this would tie into the idea that this would be 1, 2, all of this would become a 3rd wave, this would become 4th and a 5th wave to the downside, something like this. Now, if that's the case, what we could then see is a push down towards this lower range here of this 04712 to this 0451. Now, within this area here, I do have a couple of levels, so we're just going to come in here and check this out. What I'm keeping an eye on is this lower support line that we had with this consolidation over here. That ties in with coming right into that 1.382 if we do actually have this 4th wave exactly where I've placed it here. Now, if we did come into here, we do also have some other areas of interest. We have a daily naked point of control towards this 0472, and then lower down here we also have a weekly naked point of control towards this 0439. Now, this lower region would actually be coming into these lows here and retesting this middle point here where we actually have this rejection over here. So this could be quite an interesting zone as well to keep an eye on if we do look to push down lower here. Now, what we need to be careful of here is if we do start to push down too deep with this, we could actually see something more bearish where we could see a bigger 5-wave structure play out where we're actually looking for a deeper wave 3 towards this zone of the 0293. So this would be that zone we would be looking for this if it's breaking down. So we're going to go over that in a second, but this is still looking at that potential for that bullish case. So if we do fail to actually break down that low and actually maintain this low here of this 0356, we have that potential still to look to push to the upside. Currently, there's nothing indicating that it is starting at this point. I do think it is more likely that we got a little bit more downside here, possibly towards this 702, which is here at this 482, or even as low as this 786, which is here towards this 4443. Now, what I want to see here is a continuation down to these levels, or for this move to start to move back up here and starting to take these highs. Until we take this high here of the 656, we can't rule out the idea that this could actually all just be one move here, and we could still look at this as a bigger 5-wave sequence that's still developing and needs a bit more time, where this becomes 1-2, we have another 1-2, and then we look to break down. What I want to see is primarily a move back above this channel and then back out of this bigger channel that we have here to the downside as well. Just moving into this high here could actually mean that we still have continuation to the downside and could actually look to continue to reject. So that's what we want to avoid. Now, if we are looking at the bearish count, what we'd be talking about is treating this move here into this high as a flat correction. So this would be as a 4th wave high, looking for this as a 4th wave high, and then basically looking for this move to break down in a couple of ways. So the waves we were discussing previously was either that this move could actually break down in just a standard 5-wave structure where this becomes 1, 2, we get a bigger 3rd wave, 4th wave, and a 5th wave. So that 3rd wave target would be 293, getting a move back up into the zone of this 478 to this 369 before continuation to the downside, looking for this target lower down here towards this 268 to this 232. Now this would tie into that that target for that 5th wave, and potentially this could then mark a completed move to the downside, and we'd have to watch for the reaction off this level. But if we are breaking down in this way, we need to be careful, because this could mean that, you know, this move could be still starting to extend out here. So we're gonna have to just be careful. Really, as long as we hold this 786 at this 443, we could look for a potential reversal to the upside. So I'm going to be watching these cuts on the smaller scale here to see whether we get these additional 4ths and 5ths to the downside here, and then look for that reversal. Like I said, that potential target area that we could look for lower down here, if we do continue to form this structure, would be towards the zone of the 0471 to the 0451. Now, I'm going to just discuss a couple of other things here. If I just come here and turn this count off now, the first thing I want to talk about is the weekly CPR lines. So now we have a very tight spread on the central CPR line, which typically indicates volatility. Now, what we're looking for here is we've actually lost this zone, but what we could see is a move down to one of these other R lines here. So we've come through the R1 line, the R2 line is sitting here towards this 496, and the 0482 is sitting lower down here towards this 482 region. So this could tie into that idea of having that fifth wave here, and then actually looking, for this move to come back after that point. So if we do move down into these levels, what we could then see is the potential of a trend reversal, but it doesn't mean that it has to happen. It is just sometimes we can see a reaction around these levels. Now, if I also throw this onto the monthly here, what we can see on the monthly here is on the first of the month, we actually came into these central CPR lines and we rejected straight off of them. Now we've come down past this R1 and now we've got the R2 line below us. So this R2 line is actually sitting here towards this 467. So once again, this would be quite an interesting zone because this would actually have a bit of confluence with this little support zone that we were talking about here, looking to potentially come into this daily point of control, back into this trend line, looking to test this resistance and support area. So we could actually see this move down into this level if we do fail to actually break down. Alternatively, if we do move up here where we talked about that flat, it could be quite interesting because this could actually be a zone we could get a rejection off of if we are still going to continue down, but we are still in a fourth wave. So that would be towards the zone of these highs here, so towards this 552 area. A move up here in a 3-wave move would indicate that we could still potentially get a 5-wave decline afterwards. So keep an eye on those levels. Want to see if we get a 5-wave move here to complete this as an ABC, as a flat, and then actually look for that possibility of a rejection down from that point. Though until we actually break back above this high, we always need to be careful that we could just start to extend it directly down. The other thing that I want to talk about is the Ichimoku cloud. Now we can see that we have actually interacted with this 4-hour one and we've actually been rejected off of it here. Now, if we come here and we look at the 8-hourly, what we can see is something quite interesting. Once again, this kind of ties in with that idea of that flat, that if we did have a pushback into these highs, this would be actually a retest of this zone here of the Ichimoku cloud towards this 0552. So going to keep an eye on this. If we do start to reverse to the upside in a 5-wave structure, this could actually be a zone that we could look to potentially take advantage of for a move to the downside. Though what we'd be doing is actually waiting for that reaction here to see if it reacts accordingly. Otherwise, what we can get sometimes is this move can just actually move into here, reject, get back inside of it and start to climb through this cloud, but just gives us a little bit of a target area to keep an eye on. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Everyone have a great day. See you in the next one. Take care.